Assalamu alaikum. We have to start the control of local circulation today, and for that, just a quick revision about the functions of the local circulation, and they are delivery of oxygen and other nutrients to the tissues, removal of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion from the tissues, maintenance of proper concentration of ions in the tissues, and transport of various hormones and other substances to different tissues. To understand the basic principles of circulatory function, we need to go back to our first lecture of circulation that tells you that rate of blood flow. What is important? Rate of blood flow to a specific tissue is directly proportional to the need of that tissue. So अगर stomach है उसने digestion करनी है तो it will need increased blood flow during digestion. Under such circumstances, the body shunts blood flow from areas of low demand to areas of high demand. So you see this is a reservoir, pressure reservoir in the arteries, and these are different blood vessels going to different tissues, and at one time tissue number 2 and tissue number 4 are having large blood flow, and 1 and 3 are having very little blood flow. And when the situation changes, the tissues that get the better blood flow are now 3 and 4, whereas tissue number 2 is getting less blood flow. And it is also seen that sum of all the local tissue flows is equal to the cardiac output. So as in the previous slide, we have been saying the sum of all local tissue flows is equal to cardiac output. There is a diagram showing you whole of the body getting 10%, 24%, 20%, 9%, 20%, 4 and 13%. You collect them together, and the 100% of the tissues, whatever 100% is they are getting, total 5 liters is the cardiac output. जितना हार्ट में से निकलेगा वो इन तमाम के दरमियान में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा. Rate of blood flow through body tissues is dependent on the cross-sectional area of the blood vessel. So, एओर्टा में आप देख रहे हैं छोटा सा क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया है 2.5 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर और ब्लड फ्लो बहुत फास्ट है. आर्टरीज में उससे कम और आर्टीरियोल्स में जैसे जैसे क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया बढ़ रहा है ब्लड फ्लो की स्पीड कम हो रही है. कैपिलरीज हैव द मैक्सिमम क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया almost 5000 centimeter square, and the rate of blood flow is minimum here, so that best tissue exchange can occur slowly and gradually to a degree of completion. So this chart is showing you that the blood flow in different tissues and organs is different. Number one, it is different under resting conditions, and then you will also come to know that it is different in working conditions. So rather than going to the percent of the cardiac output that will make you 100% cardiac output, here you will know that the sum of all the tissue blood flows is equal to the cardiac output. You will also see that it is better to look at an organ, the weight of that tissue, and then receive how many milliliters are going per minute to that organ, and this will tell you what is the status of blood flow through this tissue. So brain is getting 50 milliliter per minute per 100 grams, whereas the heart is getting 70 milliliter per minute per 100 grams. So heart को जा रहा है 200 मिलीलीटर पर मिनट, ब्रेन को जा रहा है 700, लेकिन ब्रेन का वजन ज्यादा है, हार्ट का वजन कम है. हार्ट को relatively ज्यादा ब्लड फ्लो जा रहा है per 100 grams of the tissues. The kidneys are getting maximum blood supply 360 milliliter per minute per 100 gram of tissues, and muscles. You see, 4 milliliter per minute per 100 gram of tissues is the blood supply to the muscles in resting condition. Skin, 3 milliliter per minute per 100 grams of the tissues is the supply to the skin in resting conditions, and when you do exercise you will see a drastic change in the blood supply of these two tissues. Adrenal glands are getting 300 milliliter per minute per 100 grams of the tissue, and this shows how much important is this gland for the body. So here we are. What are the mechanisms available of the blood flow control locally in the tissues? The local blood flow control can be divided into two phases. One is acute control and the other is long-term control. So the regulation of blood flow in the local tissues occurs by two ways. One is local changes in the arterioles and the metarterioles and precapillary sphincters allow the autoregulation, and the other is that locally, due to certain circumstances, vasoactive substances are produced and they change the diameter of these blood vessels. Coming to the autoregulation, there is a myogenic mechanism and then there is a metabolic mechanism of blood flow control. Coming to the vasoactive substances, locally produced vasodilators and locally produced vasoconstrictors are responsible for acute local blood flow control. The local blood flow control may not be sufficient enough. This acute local blood flow control may not be sufficient enough to meet the needs of the tissue, and so the systemic regulatory mechanisms for local blood flow control come into action. The systemic mechanisms are the neural mechanisms and the hormonal mechanisms. The local mechanisms are intrinsic mechanisms in that locality, and the systemic mechanisms are extrinsic mechanisms in that locality. Out of that, the neural mechanisms are the sympathetic tone of the blood vessels that regulates the diameter of the vessel and the blood flow. The hormonal mechanisms are secretion of certain vasoconstrictors or vasodilators by different glands, endocrine glands, that pass through the blood, reach the local areas and help in acute regulation of the local blood flow. Now let's see what do we mean by vasoconstriction or vasodilation. This is a normal blood vessel arteriole with a normal diameter, and then vasoconstriction means the smooth muscle fibers contract severely to decrease the diameter of the blood vessel, and vasodilation means that the smooth muscle fibers relax, and this relaxation produces increase in the diameter of the blood vessel. So talking about this one, we shall be talking later on about this one, not now. So there is local control of the blood flow in response to the tissue needs. The capacity of the tissues to regulate their own blood flow is referred to as autoregulation. Now coming to the explanation of the autoregulation, it is also called local intrinsic control of the blood flow, and we see that we are now at this time we are talking about the properties of the smooth muscle fibers. Then a smooth muscle fiber is stretched, it contracts. Response क्या होता है stretch का? It contracts. When a smooth muscle fiber is relaxed, if जिसके ऊपर stress नहीं डला हुआ, वो ऐसे ही पड़ा हुआ है, तो फिर वो relax कर जाएगा. So here we see an example. When you decrease the pressure in a tissue, the arterial pressure in that organ decreases and the blood flow to that organ decreases. This decreases the stretch on the organ vessel. ऑर्गन को जो ब्लड वेसल जा रही है उसकी वॉल पर स्ट्रेच नहीं होगा क्योंकि वहां ब्लड फ्लो कम हो गया है. दिस विल कॉज आर्टीरियोलर डायलेशन इन दैट ऑर्गन एंड रेस्टोरेशन ऑफ द ब्लड फ्लो बैक टू नॉर्मल. ये लोकल ब्लड फ्लो है, ये उसकी जो भी उसके अंदर चेंज आ रही है उसको वापस लेके आ रहा है अपनी नॉर्मल जगह पर. सो द रिस्पॉन्स इज रेस्टोरेशन ऑफ द ब्लड फ्लो टुवर्ड्स नॉर्मल इन दैट ऑर्गन. और जब इसका ऑपोजिट आप देखेंगे, जैसे कि आप लेटे हुए हैं और अचानक खड़े हो गए हैं, तो स्ट्रेच इन द लोअर वेसल्स ड्यू टू इंक्रीज प्रेशर विल कॉज increase arterial pressure in the legs, increase blood flow to the legs, stretch on the vessel wall in the legs, arteriolar constriction in the legs, restoration of blood flow towards normal in the legs. Continuing with the autoregulation, of course the autoregulation means that certain local factors, अगर उंगली में आप ज़्यादा काम कर रहे हैं, उंगली मुसलसल हिला रहे हैं, तो उंगली के अंदर जो कैपिलरी बेड है वहाँ पर लोकल फैक्टर्स अपने लिए ब्लड सप्लाई को बढ़ा लेंगे. So autoregulation means local factors change the blood flow in the capillary beds in response to chemical changes. So intrinsic control mechanisms that control blood flow to the local tissues, और उसमें से मायोजेनिक हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं और अब मेटाबॉलिक की बात है. So increase metabolic activity of the organ decreases the oxygen there because it has been utilized. Also it increases the metabolic end products in the organ tissue interstitial fluid. This causes tissues to release nitric oxide, and the arteriolar and precapillary sphincters in the blood vessel, they dilate and the blood flow to the organ increases. ये ऑटो रेगुलेशन इतनी स्ट्रांग है कि अगर सारी बॉडी में सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम की वजह से वाजो कंस्ट्रिक्शन हुई हुई हो, तो जो लोकल एरिया है जहां पर ब्लड सप्लाई की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है वहां इस ऑटो रेगुलेशन के ज़रिए मेटाबॉलिक डिमांड थ्योरी के ज़रिए इंक्रीज ब्लड फ्लो हो जाएगा. So in the previous diagram, you have seen that decrease oxygen delivery to the tissues or increase in the metabolism of the tissues that increase the oxygen expenditure, so that the sufficient oxygen that was coming is now deficient because of increased tissue metabolism. This decreases the local tissue oxygen concentration, and this lack of oxygen causes relaxation of the arterioles and the precapillary sphincters. This is a metarteriole and this is a precapillary sphincter, and then this metarteriole is continuing and another precapillary sphincter leading to blood flowing through the capillary. When the tissue cells are hyperactive, they are utilizing more oxygen. This causes deficiency of oxygen in the precapillary sphincter, and without any nervous control, just the deficiency of oxygen leads to relaxation of the precapillary sphincter, and this causes more blood to flow through the tissues and supply oxygen to them. This is oxygen demand theory, and when you say that the metabolites of nutrition demand theory has to come here, in that case we say that the metarterioles are supplying blood to an area, and the collection of carbon dioxide and potassium and adenosine and other substances that are produced as a result of metabolism of the tissues produces local relaxation of these smooth muscle fibers, and this causes increase in the blood flow to the tissue. Previously, we talked about the control of tissue blood flow by local vasoactive substances. And what are those local vasoactive substances? One is nitric oxide, a vasodilator released from healthy endothelial cells, and the other is endothelin, a powerful vasoconstrictor released from damaged endothelium. So first of all, let's see what is the mechanism of production of nitric oxide. Shear stress in a blood vessel stimulates the receptor dependent activation of nitric oxide synthase. इस रिसेप्टर डिपेंडेंट एक्टिवेशन पर एसिटाइलकोलिन भी आकर एक्ट करती है, एंजियोटेंसिन 2 भी आकर एक्ट करती है और इस पर शियर स्ट्रेस भी एक्ट करता है। ठीक है, अब ये एंडोथेलियल सेल ऑफ द ब्लड वेसल है। द एल आर्जिनिन ऑफ दिस cell joins oxygen in the presence of nitrogen nitric oxide synthase enzyme, which is activated by shear stress or acetylcholine or angiotensin 2, and then arginine plus oxygen is converted into nitric oxide plus citrulline. This nitric oxide is lipid soluble and leaves the endothelial cells and goes to the muscle layer of the arteriole or metarteriole or precapillary sphincter. So here soluble enzyme that is going to change the cyclic GTP into cyclic GMP is activated by nitric oxide, and this cyclic GMP is responsible for relaxation of the smooth muscle fiber. Whereas in endothelin is a substance that is produced when the damaged endothelium is present, and this damaged endothelium, when it produces endothelin, फायदा क्या हुआ? It produces vasoconstriction, powerful vasoconstriction, decreases the loss of blood at the site of injury. Now coming to the vasoactive substances that are responsible for changing the diameter of the blood vessels, first of all we will enlist the vasoconstrictors. Increased calcium ion concentration stimulates smooth muscle contraction. So if calcium ions are more, there will be vasoconstriction. Slight decrease in hydrogen ion concentration, इसको हम कहते हैं alkaline position. It causes arteriolar constriction. Carbon dioxide in the blood indirectly acts on the vasomotor center and transmits widespread vasoconstriction throughout the body. ये बात आपने याद रखनी है, ये आपकी जो है ना आगे काफी जगह काम आनी है. So इसको याद रखें कि if the carbon dioxide is increased locally in the tissues, it will cause vasodilation. But if it is generally increased in the body, in the blood, it will act on the vasomotor center and will cause vasoconstriction through increase in the sympathetic discharge in the nerves of the body. And now coming to the vasodilators present in the body, in case they are present, they would be causing vasodilation, increase in the potassium ion concentration. If it is within the physiological range, it will inhibit smooth muscle contraction. Increase in the magnesium ion concentration also inhibits smooth muscle contraction and causes powerful vasodilation. Increase in hydrogen ion concentration, ये एसिडिटी हो गई ना, पहले हमने एल्कलाइन की तरफ किया था, एल्कलोसिस में क्या होगा? Now we are here with an increase in the hydrogen ion concentration. Decrease in pH causes vasodilation of the arterioles. ये हमारे लोकल मेटाबोलाइट्स हैं हाइड्रोजन आयन, तो इसके इंक्रीज से pH जो है वो एसिडिटी होगी और आर्टेरियोल्स डायलेट होंगे. एसीटेट एंड सिट्रेट cause mild degrees of vasodilation. एसीटेट क्या है? एसिटिक एसिड. सिट्रेट क्या है? सिट्रिक एसिड. ठीक है, इससे माइल्ड वेजोडाइलेशन होती है. एंड इंक्रीज इन द कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कंसेंट्रेशन locally in the blood causes moderate vasodilation in the tissues but marked vasodilation in the brain. तो जो डायरेक्ट इफेक्ट है इसका वो वेजोडाइलेशन है, और जो इनडायरेक्ट इफेक्ट है वो वाजोमोटर सेंटर के थ्रू इसका सिंपैथेटिक स्टिमुलेशन इंक्रीज करके ये वाजोकंस्ट्रिक्शन करवाता है. And now we come on to the hormonal or humoral control of the circulation, and we know that there are vasoconstrictor agents in acute situation that are norepinephrine and epinephrine. then there is angiotensin 2 and then there is vasopressin. ये सब जो है ये हार्मोन्स के तौर पर भी काम करते हैं और नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन और एपिनेफ्रिन जो है वो नर्व्स की एंडिंग्स पर भी होती है नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन. So these are the vasoconstrictor agents that can cause vasoconstrictions in the blood vessel, and the vasodilator agents are bradykinin and histamine. They can cause vasodilation. अब जब हमारे पास इतना अच्छा मैकेनिज्म मौजूद है ब्लड फ्लो को बढ़ाने का मसल्स में, तो फिर तो कोई मसला ही नहीं है. कोई मसला नहीं है, आप जब चाहें ब्लड फ्लो लोकल रेगुलेशन से बढ़ा सकते हैं. लेकिन जनाब अगर आपका टोटल कार्डियक आउटपुट 5 लीटर्स है इन 70 kg एडल्ट और आपके मसल्स को चाहिए 12,500 मिलीलीटर पर मिनट इन स्टर्नस एक्सरसाइज, तो आप कैसे देंगे? यू जस्ट हैव गॉट 5 liters of blood as normal cardiac output. आप कहते हैं कि हम अपने कार्डियक आउटपुट में से एक जगह से शंटिंग करते हैं, दूसरी जगह पे हम ज़्यादा ब्लड फ्लो देते हैं, तो हम ब्लड फ्लो मैनेज कर लेते हैं लोकल टिश्यूज़ का. लेकिन बाज़ औक़ात ऐसी सिचुएशंस आती हैं कि नॉर्मल हार्ट रेट और स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम के साथ आप नॉर्मल कार्डियक आउटपुट के साथ डिमांड्स ऑफ द टिश्यूज़ को पूरा नहीं कर सकते. ऐसी सूरत में यू इंक्रीज द ब्लड फ्लो. Especially during exercise, you need to increase the blood flow to the muscles and to the skin. You need to increase the blood flow to the muscles and to the skin drastically. To the muscles for sake of exercise and to the skin for the sake of temperature regulation. Because the temperature increases by muscle metabolism and it must be regulated. So you need a lot of blood. 12,500 ये हैं, 2,000 तकरीबन ये हैं, तो ये बन गए 14,400. ठीक है ना? तो इतना ब्लड आपके पास कहाँ से आएगा मिलीलीटर कि आप उसको दे सके? तो उसके लिए what we do is, or what the body does is, it increases the heart rate and the stroke volume, and this is the nervous stimulation of the systemic regulatory mechanisms which allow you to increase the heart rate and stroke volume. So if the blood volume is 5 liters in a 70 kg adult, you increase the heart rate and stroke volume to increase the cardiac output. If the normal cardiac output is 5,040 milliliter per minute in a person whose heart rate is 72 beats per minute and stroke volume is 70 milliliter per minute, how will you increase it? Increase the cardiac output to meet the demands of the body. You will increase the heart rate to 100 per minute and you will increase the stroke volume to 100 per minute, and that will give you 10 liters per minute cardiac output. If you want to increase further ahead this 10 liters, what will you do? You can increase the heart rate up to 180 per minute without decreasing the diastolic filling of the heart. And the force of contraction of the heart, when we talked about the stroke volume, we saw that it can go up to 140 milliliters. Because of normal आपका 70 है, डबल कर देते हैं आप उसे 140 कर देते हैं, तो you can achieve up to 25 to 30 liters per minute of cardiac output. जो कि ये 10 liters per minute है, तो वो 25 से 30 liters per minute तक आप कार्डिक आउटपुट ले सकते हैं हार्ट में से, और उसके वजह से आप नर्वस और मैकेनिकल रेगुलेशन के जरिए थ्रू स्पेशल कंट्रोल यू कैन इंक्रीज द ब्लड फ्लो टू द मसल्स. अब ठीक है, मसल्स ने लोकल रेगुलेशन की, उन्होंने अलाउ किया ब्लड को कि उसके अंदर एंटर हो. स्किन ने लोकल रेगुलेशन की और अलाउ किया कि ब्लड उसके अंदर एंटर हो. और इस ब्लड को कहाँ से पैदा किया गया? इसको हार्ट रेट और स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज करके पैदा किया गया, ताकि आपके लिए, पेशेंट के लिए या नॉर्मल बंदे के लिए एक्सरसाइज करना मुमकिन हो. लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस when a tissue gets more blood supply. A local increased volume of blood in a particular tissue by dilatation of the small vessels is called hyperemia. It has got two types. One is arterial hyperemia and the other is venous hyperemia. The arterial hyperemia is the one that we would be discussing in the next slide, and it is active hyperemia and reactive hyperemia. So after this, we are going to the next slide and we'll be talking about the active and reactive hyperemia. So coming to the examples of acute metabolic control of local blood flow, we would be talking of reactive hyperemia and the active hyperemia. So if you have done some activity, during the period of activity, you have increased the consumption of oxygen and you have produced more and more metabolites. As the oxygen consumption increases, the blood flow increases because of local vasodilation due to the presence of metabolites in this area. As long as there is increase in the metabolism of that tissue, the blood flow is maintained at a higher level as compared to normal situation. As soon as the exercise or increased activity decreases to the normal level, the blood flow does not come back to absolute normal value immediately. Rather, it gradually, first of all, it comes down rapidly and then it gradually decreases for takes some time to come to the normal point. If you check this level, it had suddenly increased and then further increase was gradual. Here it suddenly decreases and then the further decrease is gradual. So the period of the increased metabolism is the period of the active hyperemia, and here the period of increased metabolism finishes, but it takes some time to come to the normal blood flow to come to the normal level. This is the situation when the metabolites produced and the oxygen consumed increase the local blood flow. Now you do an experiment. You just block your finger with a rubber band. कभी किया है उंगली पे रबर बैंड लपेटा है? नहीं लपेटा तो अब लपेट के देख लें. For some time you have blocked the blood flow to an area. When the blood supply to this area is stopped, this is the time period for which there is a no blood supply to the area. After this, you release the rubber band and you see suddenly that the finger, which was bluish in color because of lack of fresh blood coming and old blood going away from there, is now becoming red. It was of normal color previously with normal blood flow, but after the constriction is released, it becomes red and it remains red for some time. This is because of decrease in the oxygen level, which has produced nitric oxide here, and this nitric oxide has, after removal of the obstruction, increased the blood flow to that area. It is seen that the duration of the increased blood flow is proportional to the duration and degree of block. The duration of increased blood flow is proportionate to the duration and degree of block in case of reactive hyperemia. ठीक है जी, ये आपको लोकल ब्लड फ्लो कंट्रोल की एग्जांपल्स हमने दे दी. So this was the summary of the factors that are going to cause alteration in the arteriolar radius. You have got local controls by vasoconstrictors and vasodilators. Number one is internal blood pressure for myogenic response. Number two is endothelin. These two are the vasoconstrictors, and the vasodilators in circumstances when you need vasodilation, decrease oxygen tension, potassium, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen ion concentration, osmolarity of the blood, adenosine in the blood, eicosanoids in the blood, bradykinin in the blood, substances released during injury, ये toxins होते हैं in the blood or nitric oxide. These are the local control vasodilators. Then we go to the hormonal controls. The vasoconstrictors are epinephrine, angiotensin 2, and vasopressin, whereas the vasodilators are epinephrine, atrial natriuretic peptide. Then we go to the neural control, and here we have got vasoconstrictors, that is norepinephrine, and then there are vasodilators, that is nitric oxide. इसको भी कुछ न्यूरॉन्स जो हैं वो भी नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड रिलीज करते हैं, तो नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड इज नर्वस फैक्टर एज वेल एज लोकल फैक्टर. So up till now we have done the local control of the blood flow, acute local control of the blood flow. We shall be going to acute control of the local blood flow under special circumstances. एक आप एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, उसके तमाम मैकेनिज्म्स होंगे, वो स्केलेटल मसल का होगा, फिर आप हार्ट का करेंगे, फिर आप स्किन का करेंगे और ब्रेन का करेंगे. किडनी का जो है वो आपने बाद में करना है, जब आप सेकेंड ईयर में जाएंगे उसे आप नहीं करेंगे. फिर हम उसके बाद लॉन्ग टर्म कंट्रोल करेंगे और ये तमाम इंशाल्लाह अगले लेक्चर में कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे.